In today's class, we are going to see about character pointers and functions. Now, before understanding character pointer, you should understand what is a string. String is nothing but it is a sequence of characters which are enclosed within double quotes. If you write one character inside a single quote, that will be treated as a normal character variable. But if you are writing sequence of characters inside double quote, they will be treated as a string variable. For example, in general printf statements, we'll be writing printf within double quotes, we will write some message. So all these things are nothing but sequence of characters. They are considered as a string variable. Okay, so here when you print this, you will print the string as welcome on the screen. In Java, we have a data type called a string for manipulating the strings. But in C programming, we don't have data type for string. We have basic data types as integer, float, then double, then char only. We don't have any data type for manipulating string in C programming. Whereas in some other languages like Java, you have special data type for storing the strings. But in C programming, whenever you want to store the string, you have to go for collection of characters only, because we don't have any data type for that. Now, how to declare a string variable? So string is nothing but, if you want to declare a string, it should be considered as one-dimensional array of characters, because string is sequence of characters. So you declare one 1D array of characters, then that will be treated as a string. And one more thing is, all the string in C programming must be terminated by a null character. So why we use null character? So if you don't use null character, when you are reading the data from the string using a for loop, you will not know when to terminate the loop. Okay, so always every string in C programming will be terminated by a null character to identify when we have to read manipulating the string. Okay, so now the general syntax for declaring the string is, you write the data type as character, then give any variable name, that is the name of the string. After that, since string is a 1D array of characters, you open a square bracket and close it. Inside that, you can write the size of the string. So this is a way to declare a string. It is like 1D array, but the data type is character. And what is the size? Size is nothing but whatever number of maximum characters you are going to store in the string, that plus 1. Why that plus 1? The reason is, every string is terminated by null character. To store this null character, which is not part of the string, you have to add 1. Okay, if you don't add 1, the memory will not be allocated for storing the null character. So you will not be able to identify whether the string is terminated or not. So always, when you allocate the size for the string, whatever you think as the maximum number of characters you can have in the string, you add 1 to that and allocate the memory. And so this null character is going to serve as end of string marker, or it is also known as terminator, string terminator. And all the characters in the string will be stored in contiguous memory locations. Since we are storing the string in the character array, every array will be stored in continuous memory location only. Therefore, all the characters in the string are stored in contiguous memory locations. So, I am going to store the string as India. If you see here, I have totally 5 characters in India. So, I have to reserve space for the null characters also. So, I'll be reserving memory for 6 characters. Every character is going to occupy 1 memory location. So totally, if you want to store the message as India, you have to allocate 6 memory locations. Right? Now, if you see the address, all the addresses are continuous addresses only. I am starting with 2000 and I am ending with 2005. Totally 6 addresses are allocated for this particular string. Now, how to initialize a string variable? You can initialize string variable by using 2 different ways. One method is known as by means of string literal. You can see here, literal is nothing but constant. Okay, in case of constants, we have different types of constants like integer constant, floating point constant, string constant, character constant, and so on. Okay, integer constant means if I say 7, it is an integer constant. If I say 7.5, that is a floating point constant. If I write within single quote 1 character, that is a character constant. If I write sequence of characters or numbers or anything within double quotes, that will be treated as string constant. Okay, for this name constant, you have another name, that is the literal. So if I write string literal, it means that string constant only. So in the first method, I want to store a string. So I am declaring a character variable. It is an array of characters. So char name 1 of 10. So can anyone tell me how many characters you can store in this string as a maximum?
9.
9 characters only. The reason is the last character is for null. Okay, so totally you can store 9 characters from the user. I have declared that string with India, and I have given India inside double quote. Okay, so when you give inside double quote, that will be treated as a string constant, that is a string literal. And in this, I am not supplying any null character. I am simply writing India only. I am not writing null character. So when you initialize a string by means of a string literal, compiler will be automatically supplying the null character. Even though you are not writing null character explicitly, compiler will automatically supply the null character in case of string literal only. Okay, you can see the second method. Here I am declaring character array name 2 with size 10. Now I am going to initialize this with the help of character literal. Okay, character literal means I have to give many characters one by one as a character constant. In this method, I want to store nation. Nation is totally having 6 characters. So I am giving every character inside single quote separated by comma. Okay, and finally remember, when you initialize a string by means of character literal sequence, finally you have to supply the null character explicitly. Compiler will not automatically supply it. So don't forget, if you forget, no null character will be stored at that particular string. So when you read the data, you will not know when to terminate. Okay, so always when you are initializing the string by means of a character literal sequence, you supply the null character at the end. Now I want to print both the strings. So I am now printing with the help of %s modifier. So printf %s comma name 1 will be printing India, and printf %s comma name 2 will be printing nation. Okay, now the important thing comes. I want to find out how many characters I have in this particular string. So for that, we have the built-in function. In C programming, to manipulate the strings, we have many built-in functions like string length, strcat, then strcmp, and so on. So here I want to find the length of the string. So I am going to use the built-in function strlen. When you want to use the function strlen, you have to include the header file for that. Okay, so the header file here is string.h. So you include the header file string.h before you use the function. Now I want to print the length of both the strings. So I am now printing the messages length of name 1 is equal to %d. Why I am writing %d is this strlen will return one integer. So that integer I want to print in the screen. So I am writing %d here. Okay, so call the function strlen by passing name 1. Now this function will take India as an argument and count how many characters are there in India. So I have totally 5 characters. So it will return 5, and that 5 will be printed where you have this %d. In that place 5 will be printed. So I will get the answer as length of name 1 is equal to 5. Okay, now you can see no null character is counted for finding the length of the string. Next, I want to find the length of the second string. So I am giving strlen of name 2. So in this case also, even though you have explicitly stored the null character, compiler will not be counting null character for the length. So you will get only 6 characters, which are the letters of nation, pointer and strings. So now I am going to declare one character pointer. With the help of the character pointer, I am going to access a string. Okay, so if you want to access a string, you have to declare only character pointer, because string is a collection of characters. Okay, so first I have a string name which is having a value as Sunday. Now I want to access this string with the help of a pointer variable. Since this is stored in a character array, I am going to declare a character pointer char *p. Now first, before accessing this character array with the help of this pointer, you have to make the pointer to point to this particular array. That means store the address of this array in the pointer variable. Okay, so suppose if for Sunday some address is allocated, I have to get the starting address of that memory location, then I have to store it in the pointer variable. So far, to store the address of a variable in a pointer, you have used p is equal to ampersand a. If a is an integer variable, you have used p is equal to ampersand a. But now here, I am writing p is equal to name. Not here, name is declared as a character array. Whenever you declare something as an array, if you write only the name of the array, that will give you the base address of the array. Since I am getting the address directly, I am not using again one more ampersand. Okay, so I am writing p is equal to name. In this, what will happen is whatever is the memory allocated to this string Sunday, the starting address of that memory location will be stored in the pointer variable p. Now I want to print the string by means of this variable name and by means of the pointer. How I can do that? Generally, if you want to print a string by means of the character array, you will use percentage s comma the name of the array. Here the name of the array is name, so I am writing percentage s comma name in the printf statement. So now this will be printing the message as Sunday, right? Now the same thing I am going to access with the help of this pointer. Okay, so I am going to access the same thing with the help of the pointer. So what I am doing is I am writing now percentage s comma p. Now what will happen is I'll be again getting the same string Sunday. Okay, now let us go to the next one. I want to change the value at this particular string. So if I want to change this u to o, generally I want to change u to o by means of this name. How I will be doing is name of u is stored at the index 1. So I'll write name of 1 is equal to o. But now I want to access this with the help of the pointer variable. So I have to now write p. P will give me the starting address of the string, that is nothing but address of s, but I want to change u. So I have to get the address of u. U is at the index 1. Okay, if I write p or p plus 0, I will get the address of s, but I want the address of u. So I have to write now p plus 1. So p plus 1 will give you the address of u. Do you want to change the address? No. You want to change the value at that address. So now write star in front of p plus 1. So now you will get value at the address p plus 1, that is nothing but u. This u you want to change to o. So give o inside single quote, and when this statement is executed in Sunday, u will be replaced by o. Okay, so when you are printing now name and then p, you will be printing in both the cases as SONDAY, because we have changed u as o with the help of this pointer. Now let us see how to change the same thing with the help of this array, not with the help of the pointer. Okay, so now I have SONDAY. I want to change that to Monday. So I have to change the first character in the array. So I am now going to do with the help of this array name. Since I want to change the first character, which is stored in the index 0, I am going to give name of 0 is equal to within single quote m. Then I can print the string by means of either by using name or by using p. Okay, in both the cases, I'll be getting the answer as Monday. So the next program is, you are going to write a C program to find the length of a string using functions and pointers. So in the previous program, we have seen how to find the length of the string using the built-in function strlen. Okay, now we are going to implement the same built-in function by our user-defined function. We are going to write a user-defined function which will perform the same work as that of strlen function. So how to do that? We are going to achieve with the help of function and then pointer. Now let us see the main function, then we will go to the user-defined function. First, I am going to write the main function. The aim of this program is I need to find the length of a string. So for that, you first declare one string variable. So I am declaring a string variable character data of 20. Then since I want to find the length of the variable, to store the length, I am declaring one integer variable int length. Then I am asking the user to enter the string. You can get the string either by using scanf statement or otherwise getters. But when you use scanf, when you encounter white space, it will stop reading the data. But when you use getters, it will read the data till you press the new line character. Okay, so now I am using the function getters to read the string and storing in the variable table. Okay, so now I want to find the length of the string. For that, I am writing the function string length. I need to pass the variable data as an argument to the function. Now this function will find the number of characters in the string and it will return it. I need to store the answer in an integer variable. So for that only I have declared len. I am storing the answer in len. Finally, I am printing the length of the string. Now let us see how to write this str string length function. So in the string length function, you are going to accept one argument. What you are passing by means of data. If you see here, data is nothing but name of the character array. When you write the name of the character array, that is nothing but passing the base address of the array. So since you are passing the base address of the array, in your function definition, you have to receive the address in a pointer variable. For that, I am declaring here character star str. Remember, we are passing here the address. So to get the address, declare a pointer variable. Why it is character str? Because the reason is data is a character array. When you pass the address of a character variable, you have to store it only in a character pointer. So I am declaring here character star str. Now our aim is we need to count how many characters are there in the pointer. So for that, I have to take all the characters in the string one by one. Then I have to check whether it is null or not. If the character is not null, it means that you have not reached the end of the string. So you keep one counter I with 0. Whenever you get one character that is not null, you increment I by 1. That means you are getting one character which is not the end of the string. So you increment the counter by 1. Do this in a loop till you get null character. When you get null character, don't increment anything because the end of the string is reached. So you come outside the loop. Now, let us see this loop in detail. So this is a way how the loop works. First, I have to take the first character in the string. So for that, I need to get the address of the first character. So here, str will give you the address of the first character. Okay, so I can write either str or str plus 0 to get the address of the first character. But you want to check the value in that address. So write star before that. If str plus 0 is not is equal to null, it will increment I by 1. Okay, then you have to go to the next character. For that, I am going to increment I plus plus. Okay, so here this I plus plus will move I to 1. Okay, so now you go and check the second character. So I need now str plus 1 will give me the address of the second character. But I want to get the value of the second character. So again, star str plus 1 will give you the value of the second character. Check whether it is not equal to null. If so, you increment I. Likewise, you repeat the loop till you reach the null character. When you reach the null character, you come outside the loop. Now, what is your answer I is? That is going to tell you how many characters you have totally in your string. So this is the answer you want to return to the main function. So you can return it by means of the return statement. And remember, whenever you have return statement in your function, the return type should not be void. You have to write the type as whatever data you are returning. Okay, so here I am returning I is an integer variable. So I have to change the return type as int. So this program is, we are going to write the second program to implement strcpy function. Okay, strcpy is nothing but string copy. This function will accept two arguments and it will copy one argument to the other argument. That is, copy one string from the other string. So how to implement this function? So for that, since you are copying one string to another string, you need two strings now. So I have to declare two character array. So I am declaring character S1 of 20 and S2 of 20. So in S1 of 20, I'll store the source string, and in S2 of 20, I will store the destination string. Source string is nothing but where is your data available. Destination is where you want to copy the data. Okay, so S1 is a source string and S2 is a destination string. Declare both of same size because you are going to copy from one to other. Then from the user you get the first string. For that I am using the function getters of S1. Now this getters will get characters from the user through the keyboard. When the user press new line character, it will stop reading the data. Okay, so now your input string will be stored in the variable S1. Now you want to implement string copy. So write a function for copying the string. That function is string copy. Now how many argument you have to pass to this particular function? The purpose of the function is to copy one string from the other string. So you need two strings now. So pass two strings to this function as argument. Okay, so I have two arguments now. Now, which should be the first one and which should be the second one? When you implement this, you have to see how your strcpy function is implemented. In strcpy, whatever is the second string, that will be the source string and the first string will be the destination. That is, this function will copy from S1 and store it in S2. That is, it will copy from the second argument and store it in the first argument. Okay, so now we will see how to implement this. Okay, now I am passing S1 and S2 to the function. They are nothing but name of the array. When I pass the name of the array, what I am passing internally is address of the starting address of the array. Okay, so when you write this function string copy in line number 2, you can see here I have declared both the arguments as character pointers. The reason is in S1 and S2 they are array. When I write simply the name of the array, the base address of the array will be passed. So I have to receive the base address in a pointer variable. So I am declaring here a pointer variable. Now what type of pointer? S1 and S2 are character array, so declare character pointers. Now let us see how this function works. For that we will consider this diagram. When this statement is executed, S1 and S2, what will happen is this S1, that is the starting address of the string S1, will be copied to SRC. Okay, in SRC I have now India terminated by null character. Okay, so now this SRC pointer will be pointing to the first memory location, that is I, and then the destination pointer will be pointing to another set of memory locations, in that the first address. Okay, so now what will happen is you have to first take this I and copy it in this particular memory location. Okay, so how to take this I? So I is nothing but whatever is this pointer SRC, I have to take the content at that address. So that is nothing but star SRC. You can see here I am writing star SRC. If this star SRC is not is equal to 0, not is equal to null, I have to copy that in destination. Okay, so first I am taking star SRC. SRC is going to give me the address. Star SRC is going to give me value at the address. If that is not is equal to null, I have to store the value I in this memory as a value. Okay, so SRC is the address. I want the value there. So I am writing now star SRC. So star SRC will give you I. Now where you need to store this I is as star dest. Okay, if you write simply dest is equal to star SRC, you will be changing the memory address. I don't want to change the address. I want to change the value at the address. So write star dest is equal to star SRC. Now I will be copied to this particular memory. Then what you have to do is move the pointer to point to the next memory location. So for that, I am simply writing SRC++. When you do that, this SRC will be pointing to N. At the same time, you have to move this destination pointer also to point to the next memory. So write dest++ also. When you do this, both the pointers will be pointing to the next memory location where you can store the second character. Okay, so do this loop again and again till you get the null character. So what I'll be doing is, first I will take I and put it in the memory pointed by dest as a value. Then I will increment SRC by 1. At the same time, dest also will be incremented by 1. Then I will copy N. Likewise, I will do till I get null character. When I get the null character, what will happen here is it will come outside the loop. Okay, so in that case, you will not copy the null character. So when you come outside the loop, after that you have to write the statement star dest is equal to null character. Remember the students, if you don't write this particular statement, only India will be copied in the destination string. You will not have null character in the destination string. So you will not be able to identify the end of the string. So remember to include this particular statement as a last statement after your loop is over. Okay, so when this loop is executed, you will get the output like this. So all the letters of India will be copied to the destination string. When the null character is encountered, it will come outside the loop. So in line number 11, you are explicitly storing the null character as star dest. So dest, in dest, it will be stored as a value. Okay, now your work is over. So you can write closing curly brace. Now if you see, I am not returning any value from this function. I want to copy the string to another string, but I am not returning any value. What is the reason is, whatever changes I am doing in the function, those changes are reflected in the memory itself. So no need